Hey, Motorman here. Now, I'm sure that you're aware we've got a big hurricane heading towards Florida, and you might think that I'm a little worried about it. I am not worried. I'm going to tell you exactly why. And this, by the way, if a hurricane ever comes to your area, this is exactly what you need to save your life. A hooded raincoat, boots, and a microphone. Those three things together will save your life. If you don't believe me, watch these reporters standing in the eye of the hurricane with 250-mile-an-hour winds blasting them in the face. They're barely standing up straight, and the next day, they're perfectly fine. Not one single reporter has ever been injured in a hurricane because they've got the boots, the raincoat, and the microphone. I think the microphone is the key. But anyway, if you don't believe that, by the way, 2 years ago we had a hurricane, and I did a video on that with me standing in with the rain pouring down on me, with the raincoat, the boots, and the microphone, and you can watch. In fact, I'll put a link to it in case you say, no, this guy's kidding me. No, these things will save your life. Forget the water, forget the gas, forget the generators. You need to, now you know what you need to get. All right, what's this video about? I have here the 2020 Electra Glide. This is, by the way, I've got right now on it the ultra low seat because my wife likes to get a little closer to the ground. She's shorter than me. It has the stock exhaust. The tour pack that I have on here is the one that I painted for the Road King, since they're the same color. It fits right on here. In the middle here, we've got my wife's Ultra, and that happens to have the Reinhardt exhaust system. That's the 4.5-inch mufflers, and it's got the head pipes, the entire system on there. And then moving over to my Road King, this bike has got the stock head pipes and with the tab mufflers. Right now we have the medium baffles in it. They come with what they call zombie baffles, and I thought they were a bit loud, not really for riding, but when we're doing videos, I don't want too much noise because it sort of drowns out your voice. So I've got the medium baffles in the tab. I did a review on that. In fact, I'll put a link to that as well. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to start up all the bikes, and you're going to hear at idle with a little revving what the difference is in all of them. And I'm going to start with the stock exhaust system. By the way, I know folks like to comment on certain things I put in the video, like really dumb stuff. Now, I'm sure that somebody is going to comment on, why do you have a wired mic? Well, I'll tell you why. It makes me feel like Frank Sinatra. I can whip this thing around. It's beautiful. I like the wired mic. It's not actually hooked to anything, but I just put the wire on it because it makes me feel good. Anyway, here's what this sounds like. Right now that's at a high idle. It's 1100, 1200 RPMs because it's cold. Gonna raise that up. When they came out with the Milwaukee 8, Harley was able to put a little throatier sounding mufflers on because the motor made less noise, so they could make the exhaust a little bit louder and still pass the EPA or FCC or whoever it is that I just call them the fun police, the people that want to cancel your fun. So anyway, it sounds pretty good. That's perfectly stopped. Moving now over to the Reinhardt full system. If you watch my video, I took it out on Ozella Trail. This is the bike I was using for that one. The reason I use this bike is because it had the fairing. It blocks quite a bit more wind than the Road King. But anyway, here's what this one sounds like. Again, the bike is cold. That's at a fast idle at about 1200 RPMs. Now moving over to the 2019 Road King with the tab slip-ons. These are 4-inch mufflers, by the way. The Reinhardts are 4.5. 1200 RPMs. I believe they give a nice mellow sound, and when you're cruising, they're not too loud. It's not going to get on your nerves. In fact, neither does this one with the Reinhardt's full system. It's not loud enough to get annoying on a long trip. Next step is I'm going to get on each one of these bikes. I'm going to put on my full face helmet with the Hero mic and the whole thing, and let you hear how it sounds from the rider's perspective. I know you see a lot of these reviews, they have the bike riding by and you get to listen to it, but to me that's what people that are standing on the street would hear. It's not what you hear. So I think it's a little bit better. I'm not out to impress anybody. I like the sound to sound good to me. So you'll hear exactly what it sounds like from the rider's point of view. All right, here we go. We're starting with stock pipes on the 2020 Electric Glide. And by the way, for those of you who are going to talk about why do I wear the fingerless gloves, it's because it makes it so much easier to shut the camera on and off and do what I have to do with that camera. In addition, I know that if I was wearing full finger gloves, somebody would come on and say, yeah, but you're not wearing the Schmedlap gloves. I only listen to people who wear Schmedlap or Synchrify or whatever it may be. So if you want to whine about stupid stuff like that, it's up to you. It's a free country. Here we go. This is in third gear, full throttle. Third gear, 3,000 RPMs. That'd be about, if you were at, say, 70 miles per hour. That's about what it would sound like. Of course, you'd have more wind rushing by, so you wouldn't hear the exhaust near as much at 75 miles an hour. It's actually at those speeds, whisper quiet. That's fourth gear, 2,500 RPMs. Excuse me, third gear, 2,500. Once again, this is the stock exhaust. By the way, people are asking me about the Clockworks windshield and how does it work as far as blocking the wind. It's not bad. Yeah, I actually, for me, I need a windshield about an inch or so higher. The other thing with the Clockworks is it does bring you a lot of wind from around the side coming towards your chest. Not a big deal, especially when it's 90 degrees like it is here in Florida, but just something to keep in mind. It's not the ultimate wind blocker. So now we're in third gear, 3,000 RPMs. Slowing down. Second gear. know this isn't scientific, but hell, I'm not a scientist, and neither are you. But it'll give you an idea what the exhaust sounds like on a stock motorcycle at different speeds, different RPMs. And for those of you asking about the mesh jacket that I'm wearing, it's a First Gear, that's the brand. And the main reason I bought this, I got this online, is because there's virtually no black on it. I have another mesh jacket that's gray and it's got black around the shoulders and the elbows. And believe me, you do feel the difference when you're sitting at a light and that sun's beating down on you. So the lighter the color, the better. And if you're gonna get a First Gear jacket, always buy a size smaller than you normally wear. I usually wear extra large. I have an extra large First Gear jacket and it's way too big. So I got a large this time, it fits perfectly. I think I paid about 168 bucks, which is a lot of money for a mesh jacket in my opinion. But it's comfortable, it serves the purpose, and it's much cooler than if you've got black on your jacket. Now we're going to jump on the Ultra with the Reinhardt exhaust. Alright, I'm on the Ultra with the Reinhardt full system. And clearly it's quite a bit louder at idle, no question about that. Not annoyingly so, it's just louder and much throatier sounding. Right away I feel the difference in weight when turning the handlebars on this bike. It's got you know, the radio and that whole system, and probably adds about, I'm guessing 20 pounds or so versus the Electric Glide minus the radio. I will be having a radio put in the Electric Glide. Well, I was planning on doing it Tuesday, but with this hurricane coming, they say may hang around as late as Thursday. I'm not sure, but sometime probably next week. And I'm going to see if they'll let me video the installation. I'm not getting this type of radio. All I need is an AM, FM, and Bluetooth, so I could plug my phone in, because mainly I listen to XM radio. And I'll be sure to keep you updated on that. So that's fourth gear, about 2200, 2300 RPMs. The downshift in at third. Yeah, there's no question this is considerably louder than the stock system, as it should be. I mean, that's why people buy these. That's 3,000 RPMs in third gear. It should be similar to what would be around, I'm guessing, 70, 75 miles an hour out on the road. That's fourth gear at 2,200 RPMs. Not objectionable at all. I could easily live with this on a long trip. I've noticed on this bike, when you get up around 80 on the interstate, yeah, you could hear that exhaust, and it could get on your nerves, especially if you're wearing a half helmet and not earplugs. I'm wearing a full face HJC helmet. Just got this recently because the other helmet I used a couple of videos ago, also full face, but it was a modular, and the modular helmets tend to let in a little bit more air sound. So I heard about this one, I think from John Maxwell. If you're not familiar with John Maxwell, I'm going to put a link to him. By the way, I contacted John, he's a real nice guy, on YouTube, and I told him I'd like to put him through my Ride Like a Pro class. Not that I saw anything on his videos that said he needs help, but you know, I rode for a lot of years thinking I was pretty good, and then I took motor officer training, and that's the day I learned how to actually ride a motorcycle. That's more than 20 years ago. Okay, once again, that's third gear and 3,000 RPMs. I also contacted Sean from Beards and Bikes. If you know him, he sells used motorcycles. He's got a big presence on YouTube. And I offered him also to come down and take my class. Again, not because his riding looks bad, but I know I could improve him by at least 100% in about 2 hours. And who doesn't want to go along with that deal? So if you want to go on John Maxwell on his YouTubes and suggest to him, hey, call that Motorman guy back, he wants to put you through the class. I even offered to do it up there in Georgia because it looks like the dealership he works at, Chattahoochee, has a gigantic and beautiful parking lot. And if I go up there to teach him, he can get a few more employees or anybody else who wants to take the Ride Like a Pro course. I'd set it up there, spend a couple days there, and put a whole bunch of people through the course. I think that would make for a great YouTube video. Now Sean from Beards and Bikes, he's up in Pennsylvania. That's a little further than I'd want to travel, but he's welcome to come down to Georgia if I set something up with John Maxwell. By the way, the system on this bike installed with a computer download, $1,650. I didn't put it on. It was we bought this bike with I think 4,000 miles on it. It already had the system on it. So yeah, it's pretty expensive. I think they've come down in price now, but yeah, it's not cheap. All right, now let's move on to the Road King with the tab slip-ons. Okay, now I'm on the Road King with the tab slip-ons with the medium baffles. They are a few decibels quieter than the zombie baffles. Like I said, I tried the zombie baffles and they were fine. The only problem is it makes it a little difficult if I'm not on a microphone to be able to hear me above the sound of the motorcycle. So that's why I put the medium baffles on. Now this Road King, of course, has the 114 motor, as does the 2020 Electra Glide. 2017 has the 107. But there isn't a great deal. It's not like a night and day difference, and I think that's because of the exhaust system adds some horsepower. In addition, it's got the computer download. So that bike is definitely not hurting for power, that Ultra. Haven't done anything with the fuel injection on this bike. I spoke with a former Harley engineer and he informed me that it's really not necessary with just slip-ons. He said after a couple of tankfuls of riding, the computer will adjust itself. So I'm sure that there's a lot of experts out there on YouTube that are going to tell me absolutely not, no way, but I kind of trust this guy. He's been an engineer for like 40 years now, retired. He knows his stuff. In fact, he's the maker of Knight Rider. If you haven't seen that, that's a fuel injection device. You just plug it in, don't need to dyno or anything, and you can richen up the mixture, and you could add things like slip-on exhaust and air filters and quite a few modifications before you would need anything more. And they're about $250 range, much less expensive, of course, than some of the other units that, you know, start at $400. Now I got somebody in front of me. This is a 30-mile-an-hour zone. It should be 45, and this person's going 28. And I know I should blast him with the air horn, but I'm not going to do that. It was accidental. Now he's slowing down even more. I think I'll turn around here. All right, this is third gear, 3,000 RPM. Definitely louder than stock, but quieter than the Reinhardt full system. There's a full throttle. Now fourth gear, a little over 2,000 RPM. Real nice for cruising. Even for the most sensitive, this is not going to get on your nerves. And it's not going to annoy the neighbors. In fact, I don't think even the Reinhardt full system is enough for people to complain. If you like these videos, I hope you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Tell your friends about it. Get them to subscribe. If you don't like the videos, tell your friends to subscribe and let them get stuck just like you. And as for the YouTube commandos, I call them, who are experts on everything. I happened to catch a video on YouTube about brain surgery, and it was actually a guy commenting on there that, yeah, he would have done a little bit different. Yeah, he's going to tell the brain surgeon what to do, but yeah, that's as good and as bad about the internet. You got to ignore the idiots and the haters. It'll drive you crazy. Check this out. If you can see this down the street here, we've had last week it rained for like 7 or 8 days, some of which were torrential rainpours. And there's a pond over here to the right that's now overflowing onto the road. It can never reach the house because they're up on a hill just like my house. But what really happened here is, for some odd reason, the county has all the fire hydrants on the street out here open and emptying into this pond. I asked a guy about that was working there. He says, well, there was air in the lines. Well, there's been air in the lines for a month because they got them running full force now for probably about a month, which is causing this flooding. It's crazy stuff. And they say that this hurricane that's coming is going to be slow moving, So there's going to be a hell of a lot of rain. We've never had any flooding up here. I'm almost at the top of a hill. I don't know, I guess 60, 70 feet above sea level. And I'm not worried about storm surge because, well, as the crow flies, I'm probably 5 miles from the Gulf. Anyway, that's the exhaust system, the tab system on this motorcycle, the Reinhardt full system on the Ultra, and the stock system on the Electroglide. By the way, I'd like to try some others. Vance and Hines I'd like to try, or slip-ons, or Cobras. I've had Cobras in the past on a Honda that I had, and I love the sound of them. So if Cobra are out there, or Vance and Hines, and would like to send me some slip-ons, I'd be happy to review them for you. I'm just saying. Till next time, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that little bell so you'll be notified every time I do a video. I'm going to probably do a video in the middle of the hurricane showing you how the raincoat, the boots, and of course the microphone will save your life. Till next time.